Good evening, friends. There comes a moment in life when we find ourselves surrounded by the wreckage of what once was. Perhaps it's the loss of a dream, a relationship, or even the version of ourselves we thought we'd always be. It's in these moments, as we stand in the rubble, that the choice to rebuild whispers its invitation. But let's be clear, rebuilding doesn't begin in the hands, it begins in the heart. Before you can lay the first brick of your new life, you have to face what's broken. That's hard, isn't it? We're tempted to look away, to pretend everything's fine. But pretending never fixes the cracks. It's only when we say, yes, this happened. Yes, I feel this pain, that healing has the courage to show up. Pain, oh, that word has a weight to it, doesn't it? It feels heavy, sharp, sometimes unbearable. But let me tell you something, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. It's a fire that burns away what no longer serves you. Yes, it scorches, but it also reveals. It shows you what matters, what's true, and what's worth fighting for. And then we come to the turning point, choice. In every moment, there's a choice waiting for you. Stay where you are or step into what's possible. Let me tell you, the choice to move forward doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Choose messy progress over beautiful stagnation. Choose hope over fear. When you start small. Don't let the weight of the end goal stop you from beginning. Rebuilding isn't about leaping to the top. It's about laying one brick today and then another tomorrow. The big dream. That's your guiding star. But the small steps, that's where the magic happens. And while you're walking this path, celebrate every inch of progress. Don't wait for the finish line to cheer for yourself. Every day you show up, every choice you make, every moment you don't quit, that's a victory. Finally, remember this, you are not meant to rebuild alone. Lean on love, whether it comes from friends, family, or even a stranger's kindness. Let the people around you remind you of your strength when you forget it. Learn from those who've walked this road before you, because their light can illuminate your own way. So as you stand in the ruins of yesterday, know this, you are not broken beyond repair. You are a masterpiece in progress, brick by brick, step by step. You are rebuilding a version of yourself stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. Now, take a deep breath, look around, the work begins today. And oh, what a masterpiece you're about to create. True rebuilding begins with a moment of reckoning, a moment when you stop, look around, and truly see what lies before you. It's tempting to avoid this step, isn't it? To turn away from the wreckage, to distract yourself, to convince yourself it's not that bad. But let me tell you, ignoring what's broken doesn't make it go away. Denial might shield you for a time, but it also keeps you stuck, unable to move forward. To rebuild, you must first acknowledge what has been lost. It's not about dwelling in the pain or wallowing in self-pity. It's about taking a deep, courageous breath and saying, this is where I am. This is what I'm working with. When you can name what's broken, you reclaim your power. You shift from feeling like a victim of circumstance to being the architect of your comeback. Acknowledging the ruins also means honoring what was. Perhaps what's broken was once something beautiful, something you poured your heart and soul into. A dream, a relationship, or even a version of yourself you thought you'd always be. It's okay to grieve it. In fact, it's necessary. Grief doesn't mean you're weak, it means you cared, and caring is what makes us human. But here's the truth, the ruins are not the end of your story. They're the prologue to something greater. By facing them, by seeing them for what they are, you create the foundation for transformation. Because when you know where you stand, you can decide where to go next. That's the power of acknowledging the ruins. It's not about getting stuck in the past. It's about clearing the way for your future. Pain is one of life's greatest paradoxes. It is sharp, relentless, and often feels unbearable in the moment, yet it carries within it the seeds of transformation. It's easy to view pain as a punishment, something to avoid at all costs. But what if we could see it differently? What if we understood that pain is not here to destroy us, but to teach us, to push us, to catalyze our growth? Pain has a way of breaking down illusions. When life is smooth, it's easy to ignore the cracks beneath the surface. Pain strips away the distractions and forces you to confront what's real. It shows you the parts of your life that need attention, the patterns that no longer serve you, and the truths you've been avoiding. It's uncomfortable, sometimes excruciating, but it's also clarifying. Pain doesn't lie, it reveals. In its raw, unfiltered intensity, pain often brings us to a crossroads. You can choose to let it define you, to let it harden your heart and close you off from the world. Or you can let it refine you, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. That choice to use pain as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block is where transformation begins. There's a strange beauty in realizing that the very thing you thought would break you is the same thing that can remake you. Pain pushes you to grow in ways you never imagined. It forces you to dig deep, to find reserves of strength you didn't know you had. It challenges you to become resourceful, creative, and courageous. And perhaps most importantly, pain reminds you of your humanity. It connects you to others, because everyone knows what it feels like to hurt. In that shared experience, there is empathy, understanding, and the possibility of profound connection. Pain, for all its harshness, can be the bridge that brings people together. So while pain may feel like a curse in the moment, it is often the very thing that propels you forward. It shakes you awake, stirs something inside you, and reminds you that you are capable of rebuilding, no matter how broken you feel. Pain doesn't have the final word, you do. And when you choose to rise, you transform not only your pain, but yourself. Life is filled with moments where you feel stuck, moments when it seems like the world has made the decisions for you. But even in the darkest times, there is a quiet, powerful truth: you always have a choice. It may not feel like it, especially when the weight of your circumstances feels overwhelming, but choice is one of the few things that can never be taken away. It is your birthright, your power, and your path forward. Choice isn't about having perfect control over everything. It's not about pretending life is fair or that you'll always have an abundance of easy options. No, choice is about recognizing that no matter what has happened to you, no matter where you are, you still get to decide what happens next. You can choose how to respond. You can choose how to show up. You can choose what kind of life you will build from this moment on. And let me tell you, the power of choice is not in grand, sweeping gestures. It's in the small, everyday decisions. It's in deciding to get out of bed, even when it feels impossible. It's in choosing to try again, to take one more step, to believe in something better, even when doubt is louder than hope. Every little choice you make is like planting a seed. With time, care, and consistency, those seeds grow into the life you want to create. There's courage in every choice, especially when life feels uncertain. It takes bravery to choose to move forward when you don't know what lies ahead. It takes strength to say, I'm going to try, when failure feels like a real possibility. But these choices, no matter how small, are acts of defiance against despair. They are declarations of your agency, your determination to shape your story, and your belief that something better is possible. And remember this: your choices don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be free of fear or doubt. What matters is that you keep making them. One choice leads to the next, and then the next, until suddenly you realize you've created momentum. You've carved a new path, one decision at a time. The power of choice is your compass. It's the tool you use to navigate through the hardest days and to celebrate the best ones. It's what allows you to turn pain into purpose, loss into learning, and challenges into opportunities. Embrace it, trust it, and never forget that no matter where you've been, the power to choose your way forward is always yours. When you're standing at the edge of change, staring at the vastness of what you want to achieve, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Dreams can seem so big, so far out of reach, that you might hesitate to even begin. But here's the secret: every monumental achievement, every life transformed, every mountain climbed started with one small step. Starting small isn't a weakness, it's a strategy. It's about taking what feels impossible and breaking it down into something manageable. It's saying, I don't need to have it all figured out right now. I just need to take the next step. Those small steps might seem insignificant at first, but they are the foundation upon which greatness is built. A single brick may not look like much, but lay enough of them, and you'll have a fortress. There's power in small beginnings because they allow you to build momentum. One small action leads to another, and before you know it, those tiny efforts have snowballed into something extraordinary. And the beauty of starting small is that it keeps you grounded. It keeps you focused on the process rather than being paralyzed by the enormity of the goal. But don't mistake starting small for thinking small. Your dreams are meant to be big. They're meant to stretch you, to inspire you, to pull you toward a version of yourself you've never met before. Hold on to those dreams with everything you've got. Let them be the light that guides you, the fuel that keeps you going on the days when progress feels slow. Starting small and dreaming big go hand in hand. One keeps you moving, the other keeps you inspired. Together, they are a powerful force. It's not about achieving everything overnight. It's about building something meaningful, one day, one step, one choice at a time. So dream boldly. Imagine the life you want, the person you want to become, and the impact you want to make. But when it's time to act, start with what you can do today. Plant the seed, take the first step, and trust that with persistence and faith, those small beginnings will grow into something magnificent. Every great journey starts right where you are. In a world that often glorifies perfection, it's easy to forget that progress is what truly matters. We've been conditioned to believe that success looks like a flawless finish, like everything coming together seamlessly. But the reality is, life doesn't work that way. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of detours. That's why celebrating progress, no matter how small, is so important. It reminds us that growth isn't about getting it all right, it's about moving forward. Progress is the evidence that you're trying, learning, and growing. It's in every step you take, every decision you make, and every time you refuse to give up, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you. Progress is waking up and saying, I'll try again today after yesterday didn't go as planned. It's making one healthier choice, taking one more step, or daring to believe in yourself just a little bit more than you did before. Celebrating progress is about recognizing that growth happens in increments, not in leaps. It's understanding that you don't have to have everything figured out to be proud of where you are. When you stop waiting for perfection and start honoring the journey, you'll see that every small win is a victory worth celebrating. Those moments when you step out of your comfort zone, learn something new, or simply choose not to quit, they matter. And here's the thing, perfection is an illusion. Chasing it only leads to frustration, self-doubt, and fear of failure. But progress is real. It's tangible. It's tangible. It's what builds confidence and resilience. When you focus on progress, you give yourself permission to be human, to stumble, to learn, and to grow at your own pace. Celebrating progress also fuels your motivation. Each small success becomes a reminder that you are capable of change, that your efforts are making a difference, and that you are closer to your goals than you were yesterday. It's a way of telling yourself, I see you, I'm proud of you, keep going. So let go of the need to be perfect. Let go of the idea that only the final outcome is worth celebrating. Embrace the messiness of the process, the lessons and the mistakes, and the joy in the journey. Because every step forward is a step toward becoming the person you're meant to be. Celebrate that. Celebrate you. Rebuilding yourself is not a solitary journey, though it might feel that way at times. When life falls apart, there's a tendency to retreat, to shield yourself from the world and carry the weight alone. But the truth is, no one is meant to rebuild in isolation. The strength to rise again often comes from the love and support we allow ourselves to lean on, and the wisdom we gain from those who have walked similar paths. Leaning on love is not a sign of weakness, it's an act of courage. It's saying, I can't do this alone. And that's okay. Love comes in many forms: the unwavering support of family, the encouragement of friends, the understanding of a mentor, or even the kindness of a stranger. These connections remind us that we are not alone, that others see our value even when we struggle to see it ourselves. Love becomes the glue that holds us together when we feel like we're falling apart. When you lean on love, you allow others to pour into you what you may not yet have for yourself: hope, strength, and belief. Let their faith in you remind you of your worth. Let their support lighten your load. Rebuilding doesn't mean you have to carry every piece by yourself. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is let someone else help you hold it together. Equally important is learning from others. You are not the first person to face hardship, and you won't be the last. There is immense power in seeking out stories of resilience, listening to those who have rebuilt their lives, and learning from their experiences. Their journeys can inspire you, give you perspective, and offer tools or strategies you might not have considered. Surround yourself with people who have overcome, who radiate the kind of strength and wisdom you aspire to embody. Their lessons can become your guideposts. And don't underestimate the value of sharing your own story. It might just be what someone else needs to hear. In the act of giving and receiving support, we create a circle of growth that lifts everyone higher. Love and learning are two of the greatest gifts you can accept on this journey. They remind you that while the work of rebuilding is personal, the strength to do it often comes from connection. By leaning on love and learning from others, you create a foundation not just for healing, but for thriving, because together we are always stronger. Which response do you prefer? Responses may take a moment to load. Rebuilding yourself is one of the most courageous journeys you will ever undertake. It requires you to face the ruins, embrace the pain as your teacher, and step forward one choice at a time. It challenges you to dream bigger than your fears while starting smaller than your doubts. Along the way, it invites you to celebrate progress instead of waiting for perfection, and to lean into the love and wisdom of others when your strength feels thin. But here's the most important truth: you are capable of this. Within you is the resilience to rise, the creativity to rebuild, and the courage to keep going even when the path ahead feels uncertain. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you're meant to live and the person you're meant to become. Rebuilding isn't just about recovering what was lost, it's about creating something new, something stronger, something even more beautiful. So as you move forward, remember this: the masterpiece of your life is being shaped one day, one choice, and one moment at a time. And when you look back, you will see not just what you overcame, but the incredible person you became in the process. Now go. Step boldly into the work of rebuilding. The best version of you is waiting to be discovered. As we stand at the crossroads of challenge and opportunity, let us remember that rebuilding is not a singular act, it's a journey. It's a journey that starts with acknowledging what's broken, finding the courage in pain, and choosing to take even the smallest step forward. It's about dreaming boldly while embracing the reality that progress comes in small, meaningful strides. We do not walk this path alone. Love sustains us, and the wisdom of others illuminates the way. Each choice we make, each moment we refuse to quit, is a testament to our resilience and our capacity to create something extraordinary out of the ashes. So as you leave here today, I want you to hold on to one truth: rebuilding yourself is a powerful act of defiance, of hope, and of transformation. Brick by brick, step by step, you are creating a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever before. Trust in the process, lean on the love around you, and never stop reaching for the greatness within you. This is your journey, and you are ready to rise.